The historic and majestic Belgrave line was opened in December of 1889 to Upper Ferntree Gully. The rest of the line was a part of narrow gauge line which formed a part of the beloved Puffing Billy we know and love today. Suburban electric trains first reached Belgrave in 1962 and formed the line that we have today. And now, let's head to our first station in East Richmond. East Richmond Station opened on the 24th of September in 1860 and served 642,000 annual passengers. First named Church Street, which is right there. It was renamed in 1867 to East Richmond. The station first opened as a part of the Hawthorn line. However, today, most LILYDALE and Belgrave services do not stop here. Services to Ringwood and Blackburn usually do stop here, as well as the Glenferrie and Alamein lines. In 1965, the Church Street level crossing was removed, and 2 years later, the station had 4 tracks running through it to allow more express trains. And now we move past Burnley Station, which is in my Glenferrie line video, and move to our only closed station. Now, I'm at the side of the station, but I've already filmed here before. Cue the weird haircut. And here we are at Picnic Station. Picnic Station was opened in 1860 and served for 38 years until 1898. On the 2nd of December in 1882, 2 trains crashed head-on right here, killing 1 person and 178 people injured. The station served the Burnley area, but when Burnley Station was opened in 1880, the station quickly lost passengers, and in 1898, the station finally closed. This is the site of Picnic Station, with Hawthorn Station out there and Burnley Station only about 500 metres down the track that way. And now, let's move to Hawthorn. Hawthorn Station opened on the 13th of April in 1861 and serves 707,000 annual passengers. It was the original terminus of the line when it was first built, and it had only 1 platform. When the line was extended to Camberwell in 1882, a second platform was constructed. Eight years later, in 1890, the final platform was constructed, built with the original canopy from Flinders Street Station, and it served the now closed Q line. The Q line junctioned off between Hawthorn and Glenferrie, and if you want more information, there is another video on it that I've made, which you can watch after this one. And now, let's move to Glenferrie. Glenferrie Station opened on the 3rd of April in 1882 as Glenferrie Road, renamed to just Glenferrie 6 months later. The beautiful station buildings are heritage listed, and the station became a premium station in 1996. The station is quite busy, being the 12th busiest in Melbourne with 2.72 million annual passengers. The station serves Swinburne University and Glenferrie Oval. And now let's head to Auburn. Auburn Station opened on the 3rd of April in 1882 and has 747,000 annual passengers. It was first named Auburn Road, but it was renamed to simply Auburn 6 months later. The station buildings were built in 1916 after the regrading of the line and are Victoria heritage listed. The word Auburn means a brownish reddish colour, and I would love to know what the meaning it has to the station. And now we head to Camberwell.
Please take a key and sign your sign.
Camberwell Station opened on the 3rd of April in 1882 and has 1.91 million passengers. It today serves the terminus for most of Alamein trains and was once the terminus of the LILYDALE and Belgrave lines. In 1919, the station was built into a cutting to get these beautiful station buildings. This was due to such a steep gradient between here and Auburn Station, which once led to trains being split up between locomotives, as the locomotives could not take a full train up the hill. In 1964, the station received the first signal box with push-button signalling in Victoria. Finally, the 4 stabling sidings were built in 1997 to accommodate for the closure of the almighty Jollymont Yards. And now, let's board an express train and skip 11 stations and head to Ringwood. Ringwood Station opened on the 1st of December in 1882 and has 1.8 million annual passengers. The Ringwood name origin is uncertain, but it may have come from an English town or the fact the settlement was originally home to timber getters. The original signal box was located on platforms 1 and 2, but has since been moved to the bus interchange, and signals are now done by people in the platform 3 building. Platform 1 was only added in 1999, and before then it was used as a siding which ran east of the station to Wanturna Road, which was a site of many accidents. In 2016, the station received major upgrades, and today the station is a beautiful mix of modern and traditional historic old. It's just a beautiful station, isn't it? And now let's leave Ringwood and the LILYDALE line and head to Heathmont. Heathmont Station opened on the 1st of May in 1926 and has 266,000 annual passengers. The station was first built to serve the various apple orchards in the area. Platform 1 station building opened in 1977. There are planned upgrades to the station which are there to help reduce some of the dangers that the station creates. Now let's move on to Bayswater Station. Bayswater Station opened on the 4th of December in 1889 and has 473,000 annual passengers. Up until 1987, the station was the site of freight trains transporting cement until they were transferred to Lyndhurst Station on the now closed South Gippsland line. To compensate for the closure of the Jollymont Yards in 1998, a small maintenance facility and stabling yards were built on the east side of the station. In 2016, the station was closed for 3 months to build this new one for level crossing removals by placing the rail under road. Now we have a bit of Boronia. Boronia Station opened on the 19th of June in 1928 and has 663,000 annual passengers. The name Boronia simply comes from the plant Boronia, which is found all over Australia. The station was first rebuilt in 1985, which included updating the bus terminal, which serves 6 bus routes. This station, in a huge trench, was built in 1998. Before 1998, the trains would run through the intersection of Dorset and Boronia roads, and that would have been dangerous. With that, let's move to Ferntree Gully. Ferntree Gully Station opened on the 5th of December in 1889 and has 463,000 annual passengers. It was first named Lower Ferntree Gully, simplified to Ferntree Gully in 1962. But that's not all. In 1972, it was renamed to Ferntree Gully, and it's never been changed back, except we just use the 1962 Ferntree Gully. After this station, there's only one track to Belgrave, and Alpine Street got boom gates in 1977. At the down end of platform 1, there's this building, and I don't know what it is. I would love some information on it. And with that, we go to Upper Ferntree Gully. Upper Ferntree Gully opened on the 4th of December in 1899 and has 266,000 annual passengers. It was originally named Upper Ferntree Gully, but just like the last station in 1975, it was renamed to Upper Ferntree Gully and has unofficially returned to its original name. Despite the small passenger numbers, this station is home to many things that control the line. In 1964, a signal panel was installed which controls the single track between Ferntree Gully and Belgrave, and the station also controls all emergency calls between Heathmont and Belgrave. The station also has 7 stabling sidings, which means that some trains originate and terminate from here. Up until 1962, it was the break of gauge station with the broad gauge line to the city and the narrow gauge line to Gembrook. At the western end of the platforms, I suspect there used to be another entrance, although I'm probably wrong. Let me know. Finally, Hilltop Road got boom gates in 1985, and now let's go to Upwey. Upwey Station opened on the 3rd of June in 1901 and has a very peaceful 159,000 annual passengers. I got the hiccup. The station acts as a crossing loop between Ferntree, Gully and Belgrave, in which trains, switch. It's named after the English town Upwey on the River Wey, in which early settlers originated from. In the 1997 bushfire season, there were raging bushfires in the area, and the station was very lucky to come out unscathed. The station is very nice, but it's flanked by 2 roads, making it a little noisy. And now, let's jump into Tecoma. Tecoma Station was built in a rainforest on the 1st of February in 1924. With its 74,000 annual passengers, it's the second least used station in Melbourne. The station had a little feature in 2012 in the telemovie Underground, the Julian Assange story. It's the only station on the line with 1 platform, and big call, very big call, this is the most beautiful station in Melbourne. Now, trainman, why do you say that? Well, the tree is just surrounded by trees, and on a wet day the greens and all the colours just come out, and it is the most beautiful thing. Riding from Upwey to Tecoma is just beautiful, and the only sounds at this station are the birds and a little bit of noise from Beld Highway. Anyway, we must move on to our final station in Belgrave. Belgrave Station opened on the 18th of December in 1900 and has 385,000 annual passengers. The station was first named Monbulk, renamed to Belgrave in 1904. After closing with the rest of the line in 1954, it reopened 8 years later in 1962, completely rebuilt with its current station and ready to be the end of the line. The current station today is 200 metres down the track from the original one, which was where the main car park is today. This same car park is set to be upgraded as a part of upgrades alongside a new pathway up to the main road. And that's it. Time for the outro. You seriously think I was going to forget about Puffing Billy? The line that we now call Puffing Billy first opened in December of 1900 and ran from Upper Ferntree Gully to Gembrook, the now terminus. A landslide in 1953 saw the line close in 1954, before 8 years later, in 1962, the line was reopened to Gembrook from Belgrave. Well, actually no. The line opened to Menzies Creek in 1962 and reached Gembrook in 1998. This gorgeous 24-kilometre line is now one of the main attractions in Victoria, and when it reopens I shall do a big video on it. In the meantime, if you can't wait for my video, come down to Belgrave where there are heaps of signs on each of the stations. See, they've decided to take off Meta on the Orient Express. Very charming. There are even some cool signs from when the Melbourne system was called the Met. If you're having trouble finding it, from Belgrave Station there is a very convenient blue line which comes down to the start of the narrow gauge line, as you can see there. Look out for a Puffing Billy video soon, but now let's go to the outro. Thank you guys for watching another video. Like and subscribe if you did enjoy, and as always, let me know down below of any video suggestions or feedback. Special mention to Michael Sainsbery, who helped so much with this video. Thank you so much. Now, there is potential for a 1,000 sub special Q&A video, and if you want to drop a question, there is a link down below.